Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. If you haven't heard the news, Scrapbook.com has revealed their SBC Fest instructors for this September, and I am one of them. I am super excited to be an instructor again for SBC Fest. While we wait for September to arrive, you can purchase the SBC Fest class kits right now. The best deal is to purchase the Ultimate Instructor Bundle, which includes all 6 kits, but you can also purchase the instructor kits separately. And if you are interested in the kits, I do have them linked in the description box below. In today's video, I decided to pull out a few products from several SBC Fest kits. And of course, I had to use one of the dies that's included in my kit. I'm going through just a few of the kits quickly. If you want a look at everything that's included in all 6 instructor kits, I do have a video showing that, and I'll link it at the end of this video. So for my card today, I'll be using the mini square grid with panel A2 card die, and that's included in my SBC Fest kit. I'll also be using the Bold Hello stamp set, and that's included in Jess Francisco's SBC Fest kit. And the last 2 products I'm pulling out of Laura Graff's SBC Fest kit, just showing them here real quickly. The 2 items I'll be using in this video is the paper pad Wildflower and also the Wildflower die set. Most of the products that are included in the SBC Fest kits are not available individually. They will be later on in the year after SBC Fest, but right now you can only get them as a part of the class instructor kits. And it really is the best deal to purchase the kit versus the individual products. Scrapbook.com always has their SBC Fest kits at amazing prices. I think it's so fun to mix and match products from each of the instructors' kits, and I will be sharing more videos before SBC Fest doing that. Using the mini square grid with panel A2 card die, I cut it out of some of Scrapbook.com's Glimmer cardstock. This is the polar bear color. So with the die, you'll end up with this fun frame, 9 squares, and a rectangle piece. For my card today, I'm only using the frame, but I will save all those other pieces. I'll start by putting adhesive on the back of the frame. So I flipped it over, and I'm using some clear double-sided adhesive tape from Scrapbook.com. The 1/4 inch width around the outside of the frame, and the 1/8 inch width on those inside areas. And don't worry, I'm not giving away any sneaks for class this September. The card I'm making today is not part of my SBC Fest class or any of the instructors. After adding the long strips across, now I'll add some smaller pieces of tape on these little short areas. And I'm cutting the tape using Scrapbook.com's titanium scissors. From the Wildflower paper pad, I'm using 5 different pattern papers, and all 5 I'm pulling out have a tone-on-tone design. So there's this fun green, lovely yellow, sort of a polka dot looking orange, a light pink with very faint stripes, and then a distress red. The pink I'll be adding behind the frame. And since this is A2 size, you really don't need to trim it down, but I did cut just a sliver off the top and the side. So now I'll flip over the frame, remove the release paper from the clear double-sided adhesive tape, and then I'll add the pink pattern paper on the back. And I'm keeping the frame upside down, then flipping over this pattern paper sheet and lining it up on the back side. And the reason I cut that pattern paper piece just a tiny bit smaller, wanted to make sure none of it would peek out the side of the frame. Next, I'll stamp the sentiment directly onto the card front. I am using a mini MISTI, want to make sure to get a nice clean impression. I'll pull out the Bold Hello stamp set. I love this set so much. It has the 3 large general words, hey, hi, hello, and then lots of small sentiments that you could add to those larger words or use them individually. One of the window openings is this longer rectangle piece, which is perfect for adding a sentiment, and I love that those 3 bold sentiments fit perfectly inside this larger opening. The ink color I used for this sentiment is VersaFine Clair Nocturne, and I did ink it just a couple times to get that really solid impression. After stamping this sentiment, I'll add my card front onto a card base using Scrapbook.com's Deluxe Adhesive Roller. Next, I'll be adding a bunch of flowers, foliage, and butterflies. I've already gone ahead and die cut out all the pieces, and I put them in the small stack and sort tray so I don't lose them. I used pattern paper for almost all the pieces. The light green I use for the foliage pieces is the Celery color, and that's from Scrapbook.com's heavyweight cardstock. The dark brown color I use for the bodies of the butterflies is chocolate. It's Scrapbook.com's classic cardstock. For the 2 larger flowers I'm adding on the card, there are 2 petal layers for each of them. I use the same red pattern paper, putting just that little bit of glue behind the center of the top petal piece and then layering it on the back one. The large and small are the same design, just 2 different sizes. I will be adding 3 of each size. For the center, I use the yellow pattern paper, and there are 2 different sizes of those little center pieces for the flowers. For that smaller flower, that centerpiece is teeny tiny. So after adding a drop of glue, I'll pick it up using the wax tip end of the Craft Pro Pick tool. I'll be adding 1 other flower, a small yellow flower. The center for the yellow flower is really tiny, and I cut it out from the orange pattern paper. I'll do the same thing I did for the small red flowers. I'll first add that small drop of glue, then pick up the center using the wax end of the Pro Pick tool. When pressing down that centerpiece, I did get a little bit of glue on that wax tip end, so I was wiping it off on my hand. Now I'll add the butterfly bodies, doing 2 larger butterflies and 3 small. And I love that most of the pieces on the wildflower die set either have embossed detail or a little bit of etched detail. The bodies for the smaller butterflies are pretty small, but I was able to pick them up using my reverse tweezers. Just trying to be very light with the liquid glue. 1 final body to attach to this beautiful orange butterfly. So there are all the die cut images assembled, super easy. The wildflower die set is worth it for just the flowers, but it also includes those butterflies and 4 sentiments, love you, hi, just a note, hello, plus the shadow outlines for all the sentiments. It's a really great die set. I will be popping up some of the die cut images using foam dimension. I grabbed the small rounds from Scrapbook.com in the 1mm thickness. And I'll put those on the back of the red flowers, the large butterflies. The small round was a little too large to put behind the smaller butterflies. So instead, I'm using some of the extra foam from the small round. I just trimmed it down with my scissors. I'll add the red flowers first. Now they do fit inside those small squares, but instead of adding them just inside the squares, I decided to do some flower clusters. I'll do 1 cluster on the left, 1 in the top center, and then 1 cluster in the lower right-hand corner. I'll add the red flowers first, then I can tuck all the leaves and foliage pieces underneath. Now for those little leaf stems, I am tearing off the very bottom stem. It won't be visible, and it does get caught up a little bit with the foam underneath the flower. Next, I'll add some of the larger leaves underneath the large red flower on the left side. There are also two smaller size leaves that work perfectly with this smaller red flower. For the small yellow flowers, I'm not popping them up. Instead, I'll just glue them down. I'll add one more small leaf on the right side of this smaller red flower. And there's my first floral cluster all assembled. Now I'll work on the one in the lower right-hand corner. Each of the flower clusters will be just a little bit different. I'm not adding the flowers, leaves, and foliage in the exact same position. The very top flower cluster, the one in the center, it will only have one of the light green foliage pieces. Next, I'll add the large leaves in the lower right-hand corner. I'll put one above the red flower and then one on the right side. And the leaf on the right side, I'm tucking underneath the light green foliage piece. I still need to add the small leaves in the lower right-hand corner, but next I'll add the foliage piece at the top in the center. Now I'll add the two small leaves on the left side of the small red flower in the lower right-hand corner. Now I'll go back to that top center floral cluster, add the two large leaves above and more on the left of the larger red flower. Also putting the small yellow flowers, just tucking it in between the two red flowers. Then I'll put the two small leaves above that smaller red flower, more on the right side. So all that's left after this final small leaf are the 5 butterflies. I'll remove the release paper from the foam. I'm adding a large and small butterfly above the sentiment on the right side. 2 small butterflies will go in the upper left-hand corner, and then the final large butterfly will go underneath the sentiment on the left side. So there is my finished card, and since I can never stop with just one, I did make 2 using this design. I love all the products that are included in the SBC Fest kits for this September. If you are interested in purchasing the kits, I do have links in the description box below. SBC Fest is a free virtual event, and I'm super excited to be one of the instructors. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.